Up next on U.S. Bank Business Watch, presented by the Business Courier. Tennis, anyone? The Western and Southern Open kicks off this week, and it's a big deal in a lot of ways for Cincinnati. There's romance in the air and on the streets of downtown Cincinnati. Thousands of pure romance consultants are in town this week. And luminosity isn't the only big thing happening in Over the Rhine this weekend. Get a sneak peek inside Phase 2 of Mercer Commons. U.S. Bank Business Watch is next. Good morning and welcome to U.S. Bank Business Watch. I'm Peg Rusconi. On the Business Courier front page centerpiece this week, Cincinnati is synonymous with baseball, but tennis? Cincinnati's Western and Southern Open, which begins on Saturday, has become one of the most successful tennis tournaments in the country, bringing many net gains to the tri-state. This year's tournament could top last year's for drawing fans. In 2013, attendance was 6% higher than 2012, with 13 of 16 sessions sold out. Nearly 200,000 people packed the Mason Tennis Center. Fans come in from 50 states and 30 countries. A UC Economics Center study of the 2011 event showed it had a local impact of $62.5 million. Its annual boost to the local economy is roughly the same as the 2012 World Choir Games. So why is the tournament so popular?
Well, it took a dramatic step forward 3 years ago when it became the combined tournament. And that was really the first year all the top men, all the top women were here at once, and that's pulled in the excitement of not only tennis fans but also big event fans because they were all here within 9 days.
This year's tournament will draw all but 2 of the top 25 men's players and the top 39 women. Business Courier reporter Steve Watkins reported this story, and he joins Business Watch producer Kelly Leon in the studio with more on Cincinnati's fascination with tennis. Kelly and Jim?
Thanks, Peg. Steve, thanks for being here.
Sure, thanks for having me.
So this comes at a time when tennis in the U.S. is not really doing so well.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting that the tournament is doing really well, but it's in the face of kind of a downturn a little bit for U.S. tennis. The top men on the Pro Tour that are American are not really faring so well. None are in the top 10 right now. Participation in high schools has gone down the last 3 years. And a lot of tournaments nationally have been pulling out of the U.S. They haven't really been doing that well attendance-wise, and some have moved overseas. So we're doing well in the face of a lot of adversity.
So why are we doing well? I mean, you know, it's one thing to bring the players here, but the fans have to go to make this successful. So why are we going?
Yeah.
And we are going.
We really are. Yeah, it's interesting. The tournament up here, it's setting attendance records every year the last several years. A lot of it is what Vince said a few minutes ago. They combined the men's and women's tours events here into 1 week. And so every night you're getting great matches. Even if there are a few upsets on one side, there probably aren't on another. They put $22 million into the facilities, and they've really expanded a lot of things, the courts, the amenities for fans, the food court, all those kind of things.
Well, and I would think our location, too, like you point out in your story that a lot of people come from out of town. I have friends whose families plan their visits to Cincinnati around the tournament. Is that part of the draw, too?
Yeah, that has a lot to do with that economic impact that we mentioned. There's a woman I talked to who comes up from Charleston, South Carolina. That's not a close drive. She brings her family up for a week every year, and they're staying in hotels, eating in restaurants. It makes a big difference in the economy.
That's really great. One last question. Let's talk a little bit about what's new this year.
Yeah, there's a few things. They've put in some new courtside seats that are very similar to what you see like at an NBA game, where people are sitting right there with the action.
Oh, wow.
They're very expensive. A lot of sponsors are snapping up these seats, but they cost several $1,000s.
Yeah.
That's new. They've expanded the food court. They've added a lot of live music that really creates that kind of fun atmosphere that Vince mentioned. And they're having celebrity chefs, too. They did that last year, but I think they've expanded that this year, and it's a really popular aspect to it.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome. Well, that's great. Let's hope they have the weather we've been having the last couple of weeks for the tournament. Yeah. Great story. Read the full article to get even more information. Thanks, Steve.
Thanks.
Peg, back to you.
That's a great event. Thanks, Kelly and Steve. Well, Cincinnati Mayor John Cranley says he would have the city make annual payments toward the upkeep of an iconic Cincinnati building. Cranley will propose that the city continue to make $200,000 a year annual payments for the next 25 years toward Union Terminal's maintenance. That's what the city has been paying each year, but it's not legally obligated to continue doing so. The move could pave the way for Hamilton County commissioners to place the so-called icon tax on November's ballot. The idea of the icon tax for both Union Terminal and Music Hall has become a major debate in the county.
Coast has always supported giving people the right to vote on major issues, and we support putting a Union Terminal issue on the ballot once they have a fair and detailed plan. Unfortunately, right now they don't have any of the above.
It's the decision right now is whether we want to close the museum center at Union Terminal or whether the public wants to pay to fix it up. We're at that stage, and Music Hall similarly, an iconic building in need of repairs.
Mayor Cranley supports letting voters decide whether to increase the county's sales tax from 6.75% to 7% for 14 years in order to repair Union Terminal and Music Hall. Mayor Cranley has nominated a new city manager. He says his choice will be a sound steward of the city's finances. Cranley nominated Baltimore Finance Director Harry Black. He says Black helped that city see its credit rating increase. Cincinnati's credit rating decreased by 2 levels in March over its underfunded pension plan and budget.
And he put together the first ever 10-year financial plan for Baltimore. So he comes steeped